Hello everyone and welcome to another Versus Video Deck Tech. I am BBD, joined again by...
Chris
from Subway. Chris from Target.
Yeah. I actually worked at Target a couple times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you go viral as a public figure?
Virus,
okay, that's the same, really.
basically.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be battling some Legacy in preparation for the Invitational that is actually happening right now.
Today in Richmond.
Yeah. So as you watch this, or actually probably if you watch this immediately when it comes out, you get to curve this into the Invitational, which is just a phenomenal curve. But we're going to be battling with some Legacy decks in preparation for that. And I'm going to be playing a Grixis Delver deck that got second place at the last Premier IQ. And I have to say this deck looks kind of interesting and pretty sweet. So
correct.
Let's go ahead and jump in. Treasure Cruise is banned, which definitely hurts Delver out a lot. But it's not the only Delve spell of the format. We got a couple other ones. We actually have 4 dig through times. We couldn't find the other 2, so
we decided to proxy them up.
We proxied them up with other similar Delve spells so that we knew when we drew one, it was a dig through time proxy. Or actually, there is just a Taziger and a old Gurms. Gurmag
Angler.
He is angling.
We're going fishing.
Yeah, we're going zombie fishing. Too bad we're not playing Gravecrawler for even more zombie synergy. But yeah, we're actually playing a Gurmag Angler and a Taziger in this deck, which that's why I actually chose this deck to play, because I saw a Gurmag Angler and I was like, snapping it off, can't pass on this.
Might as well.
I love me some Gurms, so yeah, I think this deck is pretty sweet, and I'm excited to hopefully get to cast a Gurmag Angler and beat CVM with it at some point in the game.
Oh,
Taziger would be okay, but I'm really rooting for Gurmag.
I mean, if you have a Taziger and your opponent has a Gurmag Angler, who wins that one?
Depends on how much mana you have available to you.
I don't know. You can draw a bunch of extra cards, but I still got a 5/5.
That's true. But yeah, like, we don't have Treasure Cruise anymore, which definitely hurts this deck, but Dig is still a substitute for the card. Not nearly as good, but it's still fine. And then these 2 guys are also substitutes for Treasure Cruise that give the deck a much more aggressive bent, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's possible we should have been playing Shambling Attendants all along in Legacy.
Maybe.
Yeah, but Gurmag Angler is actually just a really big... just a very efficient card. It's a really big body, it's pretty cheap, so... it's actually easier to cast than Treasure Cruise, so maybe a 5/5 is...
Do what you will with that information.
Yeah, maybe a 5/5 is better than 3 cards. In some situations it is, so... But other than that, I mean, we have the standard base of Delver, Swift Spear, Pyromancer, along with like a bunch of free spells like Probe, Daze, Force of Will, Ponder and Brainstorm, etc., Lightning Bolt. And then we have a couple of fun cards here with a Fire and Ice, which is just a versatile card, which serves as basically a 3rd Fork Bolt a lot of times, and then 2 Fork Bolts. That can be pitched to Force of Will. It can be pitched to Force of Will. You can also tap a Sphinx of the Steel Wind and draw a card.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, in case that... Not sure why I would randomly bring that up, but hopefully we get to do that for lethal at some point in this video. I'm not sure that Fork Bolt is where you want to be in Legacy right now, to be honest, because now that Treasure Cruise isn't a thing, these kinds of decks are less of a thing too. I feel like maybe Chain Lightning is just better as just an extra point of damage, but
It could be, but I have a feeling that there's going to be some Noble Hierarchs and Thalias. I've seen a bit more play now than there was before, so...
That's certainly possible, yeah. There could also be some Thalia into Flicker Wisps or whatever as well.
Purple.
Yeah, kill them both. I mean, you do still have the Fire and Ice as well, but I don't know. I just like throwing 3 damage upstairs.
Just Lava Spike.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. Mana base is pretty fetch heavy. We have an island, which honestly I would almost just say no basics, but
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
What's 1 going to do for you?
Yeah. But other than that, it's a very fetch land heavy, which is very relevant for both our Delve spells, but also Brainstorm, letting us shuffle our deck again, and things of that nature. A couple Underground Seas to help us cast the Taziger and the Gurmag, but also for some sideboard cards as well. But yeah, other than that, it's just a Grixis Delver deck, but it's got some sweet ones, and I'm excited to play with Young Pyromancer again. But first, let's go ahead and see the sideboard. Alright, we are back with the sideboard here, and it is full of a lot of random one-ofs, which may seem really weird, but in Legacy, I think that's actually the right thing to do for a lot of these kinds of decks, because you have Ponder, Brainstorm, Probe, so many ways, Dig Through Time, so many ways to dig through your deck.
Yeah.
Just, you will find a one-of eventually if you need to and you have time to do so. So having like all these random hate cards that are really good in certain situations is definitely worth it. So we have like a Vendilion Click for combo control decks, Sudden Demise, and I don't know exactly what, I mean, other than something like Death and Taxes, I'm not sure exactly what matchup this is for, but it can be good in a lot of scenarios. So, you know, even just like against something like Belcher.
It's good against Elves too.
Yeah, it's good against Elves too. I guess that's probably the predominant matchup where you want this card, is something like Elves, where it's basically kind of like Rough and Tumble, but can be a little bit more or less depending on the situation. Sulfuric Vortex is mostly for a deck like Miracles or Stoneblade or something where their game plan against you is Batterskull or Jit. Just cutting them off of life gain is relevant there. Needle is probably my favorite sideboard card in Legacy outside of Wear and Tear, and I would play a Needle in almost every single deck's sideboard. It's just so good in so many matchups, shutting off things like Sensei's Divining Top, Sneak Attack, just so many variety of combo decks like Painter, Grindstone, etc. It's just randomly good against so many different decks.
Yep. Even
Aether Vial, Mother of Runes. There's just a lot of times where you want a Pithing Needle. Another a Cage for Dredge, Reanimator, etc. Some Pyroblast as probably the best sideboard card in Legacy. Cabal Therapy as well, very good with Young Pyromancer.
It's very good with Young Pyromancer.
You know, honestly, I feel like if you're splashing black though, you probably just want the full set. Like, I would probably just play a full set of therapies, but here we
some in the main.
Yeah, maybe even some in the main deck. But here we also have Probe too, which just makes Probe Therapy Pyromancer is just, it's a dream come true. So a Rakdos Charm, which I haven't seen this one in Legacy. It is actually a modern sideboard card from time to time, and here it is making its round in the Legacy as well. So it is another piece of graveyard hate. It can exile some graveyards. It's a way to deal with like Batterskull or Jit, and it can randomly kill your opponent too, I guess.
If they just have a whole bunch of dudes.
Yeah, if they have a whole bunch of dudes, or I mean, you could theoretically bring it in against like an Empty the Warrens deck or something like that. I don't think that that's going to come up very often, but it could. I mean, against something like Storm,
I mean,
you can exile their graveyard or kill them if they try to empty you.
You'd already want it against Belcher. So
Yeah.
it kills the artifacts. So
yeah. I mean,
that's pretty funny, actually.
I mean, it's an interesting card. It's actually versatile. Like, it's actually probably really good in this matchup too. I can exile your graveyard, or if you have like, it's too bad it's red. Can kill Sphinx of the Steel Wind.
Nope.
Yeah, can't kill Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Oh well. Null Rod as well for things like Sensei's Top and the like. It's just a very good answer to those cards. Price of Progress, because why not? Just deal 6 damage to both players.
Sure.
Why not? And then an Echoing Truth as well, which not a huge fan of Echoing Truth in a deck like this, to be honest. I feel like it's better in a combo deck where you have specific problems you have to answer.
Yep.
Here, I would rather just
have a Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, I'd rather just have a Cabal Therapy. I'd rather have something a little bit more proactive than Echoing Truth. But there are going to be times where we would bring it in anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it does bounce Time of Life or whatever if you needed to.
It also bounces Sphinx of the Steel Wind.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Wow.
I just got all these answers.
Yeah. But anyway, that is the Grixis Delver deck. I'm excited to play with it. Really hoping I get to Gurmag Angler CVM in this video. Just at least one time, please. But yeah, you should stick around and check out CVM's video as well. He is going to be playing a interesting breed of Reanimator. So make sure you watch that.